What's up, guys? Ryan over at 2Minute Tennis. We're going to be talking strategy. We're going to be talking footwork. We're going to be talking technique. If you have any questions, just let me know. And super excited to be here. Yes, I am live. So if you have any questions, please throw them up into the comment section. Let's do a couple strategy tips. If you are a doubles player, here is a really easy way to understand where to hit the ball. And it's as simple as hitting the ball to the opponent who is standing. Thanks for coming in. We're doing this live and we're doing strategy, technique, footwork. So throw your questions in the comments. If you want to be right 100% of the time, 85% of the time, when it comes to where you aim your shots, then what I want you to do is simply hit the ball to the opponent who's standing where you're standing. So if you're in the back, hit your shots. Hey, what's up? Thanks for commenting. Let me see. Is that Jeff? Hold on. Let me see. Hey, what's up, Jeff? If you're in the back, make sure that you hit the ball to the other back person. If you do that 100% of the time, you'll be right 85% of the time. When you're at the net and you have a high ball, hey, what's up? What's up, IT department? If you have a high ball, I want you to hit it at the feet of that player. Now, if you have a low ball and you're at the net, then you want to hit it back to the baseliner. But here's the really simple way to think of this. When you're playing doubles, all you have to do is hit the ball to the opponent who's standing where you're standing. Yes, you'll be wrong 15% of the time, but it means you will be right 85% of the time. Paul Owens, love your simple explanations. I played tennis for 65 years and still learning something new. Hey, what's up, Kerman? Hey, thanks so much. How successful is topspin lobbing the net person? Yeah, so here's what I would say. The most valuable way to win a point in tennis, Kerman, is forcing an error. So I would love it in the comment section if all of you would say, and I've got 35 people on now, which is great. I would like 35 answers. What is the definition of a lob? Because when two people are talking, it's important that you have the same definitions of the words that you're using. So when Kerman asks me about a lob, I might have a different answer. So in the comment section, I would love if you all wrote right now, what is the definition of a lob? Because I would say it is the incorrect decision. The incorrect definition. Hitting over a person at the net. It is the incorrect definition that causes so many problems when playing tennis. So we've got We've got D7 saying hitting the ball over the person at the net. A lob in tennis is a probably shot over the head of the person, a moon ball. All right, great. A defensive and offensive high ball. All right, Paul, I like it. A shot that attempts to hit over the head of the opposing net player. Lob when you return the ball without allowing the ball to hit the ground. So that is the definition of a volley. Not a definition of a lob. When you hit the ball without letting it bounce, that is a volley. That's why it's called volleyball, right? If the ball was allowed to bounce in volleyball, it would be called rally ball. A high shot towards the back of the court. All right, here's the definition of a lob. It is simply a ball that goes high. That's it. It has nothing to do with a person at the net. And a couple players just now said, oh, a lob is a ball that goes over the net person's head. That causes so many unforced errors by us when we are trying to hit over their head and make the ball land behind them. And the reason is because oftentimes the only way to get the ball to bounce behind them is to hit the ball out. It's the only way to get the ball to bounce. So here's what I would rather you do. Here's another question, and I'll give you the answer to the question I'm going to ask. You didn't know I was doing the Q&A, right? You thought you were asking me. What's more important on a lob, height or depth? You can only answer with one. What's more important on a lob, height or depth? I don't think I'm supposed to pronounce the T. I think it's height. Height or depth? Which is more important? What's up, JK? So depth, height. So we already have, right? We can't all be right. Depth. What's more important on a lob? Height or depth? Depth, depth, height. So we're about 70%, 60% depth right now. What's more important? In my opinion, height. Height and depth. Kerman, I like you. He's like, I'm going to be right no matter what. What's up, sweets and dandy? It's height. Height is more important. And here's the reason why. Because if you're going for depth, then what you're trying to do is you're trying to avoid the net person, and you're going to do everything you can to get that ball to land behind them, including having your ball, Kerman, you're making me laugh, having your ball land just this far out. Have you ever noticed that so many of our lobs just always land out just a little bit? You can force an error from your opponent by hitting the ball super high. Forcing an error is the most valuable way to win the point. There are 3 ways to win a point. You hit a winner, you get an unforced error from your opponent, which you can't control when they're going to hit an unforced error, or you can hit a forced error, right? So if I crush a serve and I hit my opponent's body, I force them into an error, right? But if I tap a serve 2 miles an hour over the net and they miss that shot, that's an unforced error. So by hitting the lob super high, I force them into missing an overhead, because as the ball drops 9.8 meters per second, the ball's super high and they mistime it. So I would say when you are hitting the ball super high with a lob, you don't have to worry about topspin lobs or trying to get the ball to land behind them. You will win more points with your lobs if you just hit the ball super high and let them screw up the overhead. All right. Tip number 2. Let's talk about when you lob in doubles. If you have a question, just let me know. All right, if you have a question, throw it in there. I'll do technique. I'll move the camera over, and let me move some stuff. If I'm going to go live, I should at least prepare the area, right? I should at least prepare the area in case you want. If you want me to demonstrate technique, whatever you want, footwork, whatever. Here's the next idea. I'm going to ask all of you again, right? So get ready to comment again below. Let's say this player hits a lob and it lands right here. And it goes over this person's head. And you know, we always know that this team switches. Where should these 2 players go? Where should the team who hit the lob and forced the opponents to switch, where should these 2 players go? Let's see. Wonderful experience, thanks. I have a problem with my forehand. I have a good topspin, but bounce in the service box. Can you help, please? Sure. Yep, I'll do that right after this question. Sweets and toes on the service line, by the service line. Now, this team is not going to switch. This team's not going to switch. They're the team who hit the lob. They lobbed. Approach the net. How far up, Robert? How far up? Give me you have to be specific. Be specific. So Jeff says that this team should stay exactly the way they are when this person lobs and this team had to switch. That this team should stay exactly where they are. Okay, GWP said service line, approach the net, stay in their current position, switch by the service line, toes on the service line, match their move. So what, they would switch? Just behind the service line, toes on the service line. 4 feet behind the service line. Uh-oh, I'm working and listening and missed it. Kerman, get back to work. You're going to get fired. Is that quiet quitting? You're doing just enough? You're doing just what the boss asked you to do? The boss, are you getting paid to watch me right now? That's awesome. So the answer to that question is you want to put your toes on the service line. And here's the reason why. When you lob over your opponents, you have to expect... I'm glad you're laughing, Kermit. You have to expect a lob back. That's what you expect. I mean, you can't be right all the time. Now, JK said near the net. So let's take that. Let's say you get near the net. Well, what is this player going to do? If you lob over your opponent's heads and they switch, what is this person going to do? They're going to lob back. So realize that the closer in you get, the easier it is for the lob to go over your head. That's why you want to put your toes on the service line. So in 3 days, my Philadelphia Eagles, yes, my Philadelphia Eagles, are playing in the Super Bowl. When there's a punt and they punt the ball, right? 4th down, it's 4th and 8. They're on their own 42-yard line. They're punting. Where does the punt returner stand? Does the punt returner stand right up against the line of scrimmage? Do they stand way back in the end zone? No, they stand kind of in the middle of where they think the punt is going to go. It's no different than on a lob. You're allowed to say boo. That's okay. That's okay. That's how people react when their team is not in the Super Bowl. So that is just fine. I am happy to take that. So when you lob your opponents, and it doesn't matter if it's singles or doubles, you put your toes on the service line. Let's do this for singles. Let's do this for singles. Your opponent is at the net, and you hit a lob that goes over their head, and they're running it down. They're running back. Most players I see, they stay back at the baseline. That's where most players stay. And they squander the opportunity to attack. So what you don't want to do is think, move in. You don't want to be, you don't want to be vague. When you're, that's right, fly goes fly. That's right. Okay, Eric, who are you for, right? Are you Commanders? Are you the Cowgirls, right? Are you the Littles? Commanders. All right, awesome. So I call them the Littles because that's the opposite of Giants. So when you hit the ball over your opponent's head and they run it down, what you don't want to think is, oh, I need to run forward. Because that's not being specific enough. Well, where do you run? What you want to think is put your toes on the service line. Now, the reason I'm saying toes on the service line is because many years ago, I started teaching when you lob, go to the service line. And I had students, man down. I had students going like this and creeping in. And then the next shot, which is a lob, would barely go over their head. And I say, you got to go to the service line. They'd say, I did. I'm like, well, you passed by the service line, but you went in 6 feet too far, which is another 6 feet back. So you went 12 feet and you didn't get anywhere. And the ball goes over their head. So I started being more specific about the body part, about how, where to position yourself. All right, let's get some questions here. This is going to be awesome. I called this a Q&A, and I'm not taking any Q&As. What is the best way to start teaching a beginner? I want to teach my son the game. He is 11. First off, watch all 2-Minute Tennis videos. I want you to go to greatbasetennis.com. Go to Great Base Tennis. They have incredible free training on that website. I also do Zoom private lessons, and I do stroke analysis. So let's say your son is wanting to learn how to serve. Send me a video of him serving. Go to 2minutetennis.net, and you can sign up for a Zoom private lesson. This is where you and I and your son, we meet live on Zoom, and I show him side-by-side comparisons of what he's doing and what the pros are doing. I'm here demonstrating in my basement. I will teach your son everything that he needs to do. Yeah, it's important to have a good beginning. So when you have instruction on exactly what to do, and he can see himself side-by-side with the pros, it's awesome. So go to 2minutetennis.net. And we'll either do a stroke analysis or a Zoom private lesson, and I'll help you out and show you exactly how to teach your son. I do this with coaches all the time. Coaches across the country, coaches in Italy, coaches in South Africa. They actually buy Zoom lessons, and then they meet with me and the student live on Zoom. I had a lesson 3 weeks ago with a coach in South Africa. It was really early. It was like 6 a.m. for me. And it was like 1 in the afternoon for him. And he had his student right next to him. And I was looking at footage of the girl's serve. And I was putting her serve side by side with Osaka, side by side. On Zoom, you can share your screen. And showing her side by side with Sakari and teaching everything that she needed to do. She's actually the #1 ranked 14-year-old in South Africa. All right, let's see what we got here. Backhand volley. Is aiming lower part of the racket or top part of the racket the method to hit it solidly? You want to hit on the top half of the racket. You want more of the racket on a volley. You want more of the racket under the ball. How to achieve consistency? I love that question. Let's talk about that. First off, what is the definition of inconsistency? Yeah, I would love it. Thank you, JK. So what is the definition of inconsistency? If somebody says, I want to be consistent, well, you have to know what inconsistency looks like. There are 4 places to miss. You can miss long, left, right, and in the net. That's it. There's no other place to miss. Yeah, I do like the Topspin Pro, of course. Just email me, ryan@2minutetennis.net, and I'll send you my link. It would mean the world to me if you use my link to get one. They're awesome. I get pushed a lot of products to market a lot, and there are only a few I will market. So if I'm marketing a product and telling you about a product, it's because I believe in it. Topspin Pro is awesome. So the most common mistake, and I want everyone to write it here, in the comments, which mistake do you think is most common? Remember, the definition of inconsistency is missing in one of these 4 areas, long, net, left, and right. Which one do you think accounts for the most? Which one of those 4 accounts for the most errors? Paul says in the net. Good, Jeff, I'm glad. In the net, sweets and dandy. The net, the long, net, most common is net, long. No one's saying left and right, which is good. That's smart. Don't say left or right. Yeah, the most common mistake depends. I like that, Stans. I like that. And yeah, so Nick Mark says long for me, and sure, no problem, right? And it's for everybody, you know, it's different. But on average, the most common mistake is in the net because gravity's pulling the ball down. So here's the question. I'm sorry, here's the answer to the question that was asked. How do I become more consistent? Okay, what you need to do, and for all of you saying long, this is going to fix that as well. Let me ask you, what percentage of the time, but Wong says both, what percentage of the time when all of you are hitting ground strokes, do you aim to a very specific height over the net? You know, some players, they have targets on the ground, right? Sometimes people have targets. Like, oh, I'm going to hit the blue, I'm going to hit the red, I'm going to hit the green. They think of targets on the ground sometimes. What percentage of the time should you, and we'll get to that, Kerman. We're going to talk about what height to hit. But we first got to establish, are we even aiming to a specific height over the net? Thanks for the 9 thumbs up. Let's see if we can get it to like 20 right away. I've got 65 people watching and I've got 9 likes. I would love it if everyone just hit the like button. Let's see if we can get to 20 in like the next 30 seconds. That'd be great. So can you all right now, no target height? Good question. Thank you, Jeff. And oh, look at that. We're up to 15 likes already. So 2 feet over the net. I love it. I love it. I love it. What percentage of the time? Look at that. We're at 21 likes. That was super easy. Look at that. We went from 9 to 21, 22 in less than 30 seconds. Thank you. So the answer to that question should be 100% of the time. So I'm going to make it a statement. Thank you. Good job, Richard. 100% of the time, you should aim to a very specific height over the net. Of course, you're not going to hit your target every time, but that shouldn't deter you from having a target. Good job, top 10, 100% of the time. So here's what you want to do. You want to have a correlation between where you are on the court with how high you hit over the net. So, yeah, 20 feet. You said hit it high. Yes. So you can hit 20 feet over the net if you're back here. If you're back here, you can hit 20 feet over the net. Now, you can't hit the ball very hard because that's a lob. But if you're back here, absolutely. Why not hit it 20 feet over the net? Do you think for a second that when you hit that shot, your opponent's going to like it? So I have a premium membership. 2 weeks ago, I have a premium membership where on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's $40 a month. I do a live instructional class with my premium members Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with people all around the world. And 2 weeks ago, my class was 5 ways to force an error from your opponent. And one of the ways I showed, it's live on Zoom, I showed a point where Carlos Alcaraz playing Marin Cilic, this at the Miami Open, he returns a backhand lob return of serve. It was the most out of the blue shot. I mean, crazy out of the blue shot. He finished like he was Bjorn Borg or Jimmy Connors, just like right up into the air, like no follow through, just bump, opened up the racket. It was completely on purpose. Hit it super high, hit it 20 feet over the net. And Marin came in, played the ball too high and dumped it in the net. So even the pros struggle with those high moon balls and everything. So when you're back here, you want to hit higher over the net. As you move forward, you should aim lower over the net. Get that in your mind. As you get closer to the net, aim lower. As you move back to the back fence, aim higher. You know what people typically change? People don't typically change the height. I don't aim height. I never thought of this. It's actually mind-blowing advice. It makes so much sense. Of course, that's why I'm here. Look, the height you hit over the net, plus the speed you hit the ball, plus the spin you put on the ball, equals where the ball lands. So if you're making a chocolate cake and you leave out the flour and the chocolate, it ain't a chocolate cake, right? So if you're trying to hit a ball somewhere, but you're leaving out one of the ingredients, that leads to you asking on a live YouTube class. That's like dating. I don't know. I've been married for a long time, so I forget what dating is like. But I don't know what that means. But if you are not having an air target, then you're always being inconsistent. The closer we get. Closer you get, the lower you do. Kerman, there might be children watching. All right, so here's what I want you to do. As you move back, aim higher. As you move forward, aim lower, and watch how you become more consistent. That is so funny. As you move forward into the court, aim lower. As you move back, aim higher. What people always change is the speed they hit. Because when people move in, they hit softer so that the ball goes in. When they move back, they hit harder because of the distance they need the ball to go. Instead of changing the speed of your shot, just change the height over the net. All right, see, we got a question here. Where should the net player stand when returning in doubles? Great question. And they should stand. We'll make this the returner. This is the returner's partner right there. On the service line and slightly toward the center tee. Slightly toward the center tee. That's where they should stand. All right, guys, let's do some technique questions here. Give me a serve question. I got a big question. My backhand is really weak. I need help. Rohan, two-hander or one-hander? Somebody give me a serve question. Yeah, you got it. Someone, Kerman, man, you're so funny. Yeah, a lot of people cannot deal with moon balls to the backhand. You know, so Richard, this is a great thought here. Craig O'Shaughnessy says that you are the second most important person on the court, meaning your opponent is, right? What you have to do is you have to write a list of all the things you hate. And you should all do this, all 71 of you here. By the way, 71 people watching, 36 likes. Let's see if we can get to 50 likes in the next 30 seconds. Thank you. So your goal, if you write down a list of all the things you hate, I hate when I come to the net and the opponent hits to my feet. I hate when I'm at the net and the opponent lobs over my backhand side. I hate when I'm at the net and my opponent lobs and it's super high and it's hard to time, especially when I'm playing outdoors, right? With sun and wind. I hate when my opponent serves to my body. I hate when my opponent hits high bouncing balls to my backhand. If you just write a list of all the things you hate that your opponent does, what you just did is you just came up with your strategy on how to beat all your opponents. Because if you're playing someone, you're probably at the same level, which means you have kind of the same likes and dislikes. So just audit yourself. Think about, what do I hate? I hate whatever. I hate when my opponent pushes me back toward the back fence with a high, deep ball, and then they come in and drop shot. And you're like, holy cow, that's how you hit a drop shot. See, there's so much discussion here on how to hit a great drop shot, especially with Alcaraz. But why is Alcaraz so good at hitting drop shots? The reason Alcaraz is so good at hitting drop shots is because the opponents, if this is Alcaraz, the opponents are standing with their butt rubbing up against the back fence. because they're so afraid of how powerfully he hits the ball, which means he's now stepping inside the court and then hitting the drop shot, and the opponent can't get the ball. Have you ever wondered why the pros are so fast and they can hardly get to drop shots? Yet you play your buddy, right, who like never works out, yet he can run down all of your drop shots? It's because your opponents, if they're standing on the baseline, are easily going to get your drop shot. That's not a problem. So when you think of drop shots, you have to think of it as a two-step process. You have to push your opponent back. They're probably not going to be very fast back up to the net. Players tend to stay back and maybe come up a little bit, but not as far as they went back. So then you step in inside the court, and then you hit the drop shot, and then your drop shot is so much more effective. All right, 3 more likes, and we're at 50 likes. Fence Rub-a-Dub. Is a kick serve the best serve to use on a second serve? I would not say so, no. I would say a side spin serve is really good, because here's the thing about a kick serve. If your kick serve isn't phenomenal, it actually just kind of sits up for the opponent and, just kind of makes it easy. So I would actually say, unless your kick serve really kicks, then, I would actually say hit a side spin serve, hit a slice. To me, the first serve I teach people is a slice serve. I don't teach them a flat or a kick serve first. I teach them a slice. And the reason is because when you put you got to put underspin on the ball, but you don't have to put a ton of underspin on it when you push your opponent back. That's the whole idea. When you put a continental grip into someone's hand, then it just leads, with knifing the ball and like hitting the ball more with the edge. And so what you got to do is get them to aim way off to the side. You don't want to swing the direction you want the ball to go. $10, Wong, holy smokes. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Liked your kick serve video. Good advice. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Wong. You're the best. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. You're always so kind to me in the comment section. I really love it. I love a video on how to develop a good second serve for those that don't know yet how to hit a kick serve. Oh my gosh. Go to get off this live immediately and go to just click 2-Minute Tennis kick serve. I have 20 videos on the topic that are crystal clear, explain things, slow motion, everything. So yeah, trust me. I think there are maybe 3 topics I haven't covered yet. My question got panned up, so I'm repeating. What are your thoughts on the twist serve, gimmick or legit? You talking about the American twist? It is so difficult to hit an American twist serve where basically the ball is traveling like a football, like a spiral. That's basically a kick serve, where as a righty, you can get the ball to kick to the right. So I wouldn't say it's a gimmick, but you've got to be amazing at it in order to do it. Now, if you're talking about the pancake serve, and that's where halfway through you change your grip, I just realized maybe you're talking about the pancake serve, which is as soon as you get to here, you change your grip to a semi-western, and then you swing and you get the ball to curve the other way. That's a completely legit serve. I've been doing that for decades. How to conceal my serve to make it as difficult as possible to guess. Okay, I am so glad we have, by the way, we have 66 people and 53 likes. That's incredible. I love that. That's a great ratio. All right, so disguise on the serve. I think this is one of the most over-analyzed and over-talked about strategies. Because what the heck is your opponent going to do with the information? Here's what typically happens. Coaches on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram make a video about the disguise. There's one rolling around Instagram right now about the disguise of Roger Federer's serve. T, out wide, blah, blah, blah. That is when you are playing someone who is studying video footage of you, Djokovic. When you are playing someone who is noticing every minor detail. Agassi and Becker with the noticing if it's going T or out wide. And if you know, you know. The idea is simple. There's a saying in poker, don't bluff when your opponents are not paying attention. What ends up happening with disguise is you end up lowering the effectiveness and the quality of your serve in order to disguise your serve against people who aren't even noticing what you're doing anyway, or they're not even able to do anything with the information that you're giving them anyway. I mean, think about it. If you have an amazing kick serve, you can just go, hey, just so you know, I'm going to kick this up high to your backhand. Good luck. Because if your serve is good enough, you don't need to disguise it. What ends up happening is players have such a small difference between their flat serve, their slice serve, and their kick serve. And that really doesn't have much of a change. All for the idea of, well, I don't want them to know when I'm serving. Well, guess what? They are going to know because it's all going to end up being the same serve. So they end up knowing what serve it is anyway. I would rather you have your serve on your, if you're right-handed, your slice serve toss be at 1 o'clock, your flat serve toss be at 12:30, and your kick serve be at 11:30, and just let them deal with it. Because let them deal with it. I can just tell you that when yeah, that was amazing, right? That was amazing, Richard. Incredible. And I love how he goes, I would go home and tell my wife, it's like he can read my mind. That was so brilliant. Oh my gosh, that just made me chuckle. I always watch that post anytime someone puts it up. So really cool. We're up to 59 likes. That's awesome. This is great. Maybe we'll get to 65. So, okay, let's talk, let's do a technique one. I want to get in front of the camera here. Serve. When I hit serves, they're really flat and inconsistent. How do I add spin to make it more consistent? Rohan, phenomenal question. Let's get this right here, right now. Let's talk about consistency. Okay, first, what do pros do? Hey, we're up to 60 likes. I love it. Keep tongue in mouth. That's right. Don't tip off your targets. How do professionals control the ball? What do pros do? What do they add to the ball? That's your hint. What do pros add to the ball to gain control? What do billiards players do to the cue ball to add control? What do bowlers add to the ball to control the ball? What do soccer players do? They add spin, correct. Satori, good job, Eric. So when you are someone who has a very flat, it's right, easy, spin. When someone has a very flat serve that's inconsistent, what you have to do is get them to add spin. So first off, let's talk about the grip on the serve. So you want to have 2 spots. And if you're a coach, please do not just teach this. Please do not just teach the base knuckle. That is not enough information. You have to also teach the heel pad. And the reason is this. If you put your hand in a certain place, notice my heel pad is off, yet my knuckle is on panel 2. This is not a continental grip. Even though my knuckle is on panel 2, you have to have the heel pad on panel 2, and that gives you a trigger finger, by the way. So when you are hitting a serve and you're struggling, it's too flat, it's too inconsistent, to make it more consistent, we add spin. So here's how we do that. I took the arm off my Top Spin Pro I have here. And what you want to think of is like you're a Harlem Globetrotter spinning a basketball on your finger, okay? You are going to hit the ball like this. I don't want you to hit the ball. I want you to spin the ball. Spin is created when your strings face in one direction and your racket travels in a different direction. Let me say that again. Spin is created when, at contact, your racket travels in one direction and your strings point in a different direction. So when I demonstrate this, where's my racket traveling? My racket's traveling toward the stairs. Where are my strings pointing? They're pointing toward the breaker box closet, right? I always have people saying, is someone going to walk out of that? I'm like, no, that's where my breaker box is for the house. So when you hit a tennis ball, the goal is like you're spinning a basketball on your finger. Now, the ball generally goes where your strings point. So if I want the ball to go to that closet with spin, I cannot swing toward the closet, because if I swing toward the closet, I also have to point my strings to the closet because the ball goes where my strings point. And I end up hitting a flat ball because my strings are pointing in the same direction as my racket's traveling. So I'm going to swing toward the stairs and my strings face that way, and that puts spin on the ball. I don't know how well this will translate over YouTube, right? And video quality. but I am going to swing toward the stairs. Watch this. I'm going to swing toward the stairs. Watch where the ball goes. The ball went to the closet, and I swung toward the stairs because the strings were facing this way. The ball goes where your strings point, not where your racket travels. The direction your racket travels is what is determining the spin. Where the strings are pointing is basically where the ball goes. There is a bit of drag that will pull the ball with the racket path, but all things being, you've got incidence and reflection as well that you have to take into consideration in certain situations. But if you're struggling with serve consistency, add spin by using a continental grip, knuckle and heel pad on panel number 2. By the way, I don't call them bevels because I've come to learn that people don't know what a bevel is. People think, and I'm not 100% sure that I would know the real definition of a bevel. People usually think bevels are corners. They think the bevel is the corner here. A bevel is a flat side. So I started calling them panels, and it seems to clear up the issue a little bit. Thank you, Kerman. Kerman just said, love what you're doing, Ryan. You're a precious man. Thank you so much. My wife tells me I'm a precious man every day. So when you are hitting your serve, the goal is to spin the ball like this and swing across. Get that ball to spin. If you're right-handed, swing way off to the right. If you're a lefty, swing way off to the left. The ball will curve and you will have a ton of consistency. Are you talking about end game? Are you talking about this move right here? Are you talking about this move or this move? Is it just say number 1 or number 2? Are you talking this or are you talking this? Which one? Number 1 or number 2? The first one. Okay. So this move on the serve. Good. This move on the serve. First off, you have to wear a birthday hat. So I've had coaches make fun of the birthday hat on YouTube and say that it's ridiculous. And I get this on Instagram all the time as well. And one of the reasons they are misinformed is because they put the birthday hat in the wrong place. Because they'll go, well, see, you put the birthday hat on and then you look up and there's no birthday hat to hit. And I'm like, well, that's because you got to put it in front like it's a unicorn horn. You put the birthday hat in front like a unicorn, and then when you look up, there's a birthday hat to hit. Back in 2014, I was teaching a bunch of, and I'll get to the internal shoulder rotation in a second. In 2014, I was teaching, I still remember the class. It was a Thursday 4 o'clock class for 8-year-olds. And they were struggling with the waiter's tray, and they were struggling making this move. And I said, look, unicorns cannot serve correctly. By the way, if I ever write a book, the title is going to be Unicorns Cannot Serve Correctly. And they all laughed, and I said, no. I said, unicorns, there's no way they can serve correctly because the horn is in the way, and their racket would hit the horn, and the racket would stop. So every unicorn has a palm-up serve. So they laughed, and I thought, what can I put on their heads that they could hit like it's a unicorn horn? And I go, holy crap, it's a birthday hat. And yeah, I've got someone say, you're effectively doing the salute, and that gets the power. Well, yes, there's many things that add to the power, which we'll talk about. So the birthday hat, what it requires is 360 degrees to be created. If you go like this, you lose the circular movement. The reason you need that internal shoulder rotation, the reason you need this and make that move is because what you're trying to do, good morning from India, hello, hello. The reason you're trying to make that move is because you're trying to create a circle. And one of the best ways to create a circle is to wear a birthday hat. Now, let's first talk about the move before the one Endgame was asking about. Endgame is asking about this move. Well, Vic Braden, 50 years ago, came up with the idea of elbowing someone behind you. And I'm glad to see that many coaches are teaching this online. But it came from Vic Braden. So Vic talked about elbowing someone behind you. Now, the reason elbowing someone behind you is so important and so helpful on the serve is because the number one power source on the serve is the elbow coming forward and up. That is number one, right? So I'm 5'9". I maxed out at a 5.0 level. I'm not some pro tennis player, but my fastest serve I've ever hit is 117. I was like in my early 20s, and so that was a long time ago. But I've served 97 miles an hour on my knees. So it's not the legs producing. Hello from Borneo. It's not the number one power source, the legs. It's not. It is a power source, but it has to be done right, and I'll explain that. But the most important power source, and the number one power source, is the elbow coming forward and up. Well, if your elbow has a farther distance to go, then you get more racket speed. So I made a video, I forget who it was on. It was like a week ago. And I was teaching, it was one of the pros. Maybe if you saw it, you can type it in there. Go in my account, and I was like, I teach so-and-so to how to improve his serve. I forget. But the elbow was in front, and his fastest serve, he's 6'1", his fastest serve at the Australian Open, he lost in the first round, was 120. And then you got J.J. Wolf serving 136. Why is that? And just like Demon R, he was making the same move. The elbow is right here. You want the elbow back because it has a farther distance that it's got to travel, and it really produces a whip with the racket. Now, you were talking about when to make this move. You want to make that move as the legs are driving up. What you want, and we're talking about the birthday hat here, is you want to be in your lowest, let me see if I can pan this down just a little bit so it's a little easier for you. What you want to do is be in your lowest knee bend before you hit the birthday hat. Look at Riley Opelka. Look at Kyrgios. Look at Dimitrov. Taylor Fritz. Sam Groth. They all are exploding up, Roddick, before they hit the birthday hat. That stretches the shoulder back. The body's going up as the racket's going down. Big shoulder stretch, big layback, and then the racket just goes flying over the arm. So on your serve, get your elbow, if I'm serving against this wall, get your elbow back, and as you're elbowing someone, you want to be bending. And then you explode up from here, you hit the birthday hat, boom, and you can absolutely crush your serve. Guys, I do have to leave, but really quickly. From now until the end of the Super Bowl, I'm running a special on my website. I have a premium membership that's $40 a month. And hang in here because I just spent 40 minutes giving you world-class information. So all I need is 20 minutes of your time to explain this. A premium membership is $40 a month. There you go. Thank you. That's who I made the video on. The premium membership is $40 a month. And here's what you get. First, if you sign up between now and the end of the Super Bowl, because my Eagles are in the Super Bowl, you get a free Zoom private lesson with me. A Zoom private lesson is the best tennis lesson you will ever take, bar none, including in-person lessons. In fact, a Zoom private lesson is as good as 10 in-person lessons. I will put you side by side, right live on Zoom. You and I are talking. I see you, you see me. You send me video footage of your serve, your backhand, your forehand. Let's say you want to see your serve next to Federer, Kyrgios, and J.J. Wolf. I'll put you side by side on the screen. And I'm drawing on the screen. It's just like YouTube, except you see you next to the pros. That's usually $120 for an hour. I dissect your video. I come in front here, just like I am here, as animated as I am here. And I teach you step by step what you're doing correctly and what you need to do in order to improve. That's included free in the membership. That normally is not. But because my Eagles are in the Super Bowl, you have until now. Yeah, good, Endgame, good. It's $40 a month, the membership. And if you sign up for that, you get that included. You also get a weekly live group Zoom lesson with me, with members all around the world. Just today, I had 2 members sign up, one from Switzerland and one from Greece, which I thought was pretty interesting about where, the best players in the world are. With Tsitsipas and Federer. So you get a weekly class with me. You get my mastery courses, Master Your Serve, Master Your Forehand, Master Your Double Strategy, which is on my website, 2MinuteTennis.net. just like TennisNet. Just think .net, like TennisNet, 2MinuteTennis.net. And you get a 50% off coupon code to use on any future Zoom private lesson with me. Or stroke analysis. Stroke analysis is $77. Zoom private lessons are $120. You get to cut those prices in half with the coupon code that I give you once you sign up. Just had 3 signups today. The other one was from America. So go to 2MinuteTennis.net right now. Sign up for the premium membership. You can cancel anytime, but it's worth it just signing up just to get the $120 Zoom private lesson with me and the 4 classes over the next month and the mastery courses. And you can purchase a couple lessons for half price. You can even get a package, which cuts the price in half even more. But thank you so much for joining me today. I absolutely love coming on here. Awesome. Thank you, fan. I cannot wait. Thanks, Eric. I cannot wait to help everyone. By the way, the Wednesday classes are so freaking engaging because I can see everyone. Like here, I can't see you. But in the Zoom, you're asking me questions. The members are starting to know each other now. So I've got members all around the world. Hong Kong. I had 3 people from Australia sign up in the same day. It was hilarious. United Arab Emirates, Canada, all across the country. Where else? Italy, London, Mexico. I have 2 members in Puerto Rico. It's so fun. We all get into this Zoom class. Yesterday was 5 ways to have a more consistent toss. The Zoom class is Wednesday night, 9 p.m. New York City time. But if you cannot make the live class, it doesn't matter because like my class last night, I've already put the recording up on my website for all the people who are in Italy and in Switzerland. They're sleeping during that time. So they just wake up and they get to watch the class live, and they get to watch it. They ask me any questions that they have on YouTube, on the inbox portal on the website. It's awesome. I cannot wait. So we're growing. We are changing the way people learn tennis. You don't have to be on a tennis court. And I would tell you the tennis court, the class is 1 hour long. The class is 1 hour long. I do Q&A at the end, but I'm talking. Like I have people demonstrating. I have people like, Ryan, tell me about my forehand. What is it? They've got their Topspin Pros out. We're doing how to improve your return to serve, double strategy, single strategy. It is such an interactive and awesome class. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate the support. And look, if you sign up for the membership from now between now and Sunday night when the clock strikes 0, that's when the offer ends, you get a free Zoom private lesson included. That is incredible, where I meet live with you. Oh, by the way, we can do match play strategy. Let's say you have trouble playing matches or doubles, singles. There's a certain person you struggle against. Record the match, upload it to YouTube privately or like an unlisted video, right? Send me the link. I'll watch the match. I'll pull points on how you can improve, and I will meet you live on Zoom for your private lesson, your Zoom private lesson, and I'll walk you through step by step the strategies on how to beat that person. So Zoom private lessons are not just for technique. They're also for match play strategy. They're for footwork. They're for court positioning and shot selection. So thank you all so much for joining me. And make sure you go to 2MinuteTennis.net and sign up for that membership. Thank you all so much. You have significantly improved my game. Love the way you present. Thanks, John. Thanks, Endgame. It is absolutely because I believe I was meant to be a teacher. I was meant to be a coach. It just so happens that I teach tennis. By the way, I'll let you go here in just a second. I had a student of mine one time. She was the principal at a school. And thanks, SR. And she said, Ryan, you should have been a teacher. And like at a school. I was like, well, I am. I just don't teach 8th grade science. I teach tennis. Like, I am a teacher. This is what I do. And I get to teach people all around the world. So thank you all so much. Cheers from Canada. Thank you so much, Jeff. And you are such a great supporter of mine. You're always throwing those super likes and super thanks and the stickers. And I don't even understand all the YouTube has to offer, but I really, really appreciate all the support you've always shown me. So thank you all. Have a great night and you got this.